Hello and welcome to Fernbank Science Center's The Sky This Week for June 20th through 26th, 2021. The season of summer officially begins here in the Atlanta area on Sunday the 20th. We have some bright stars and planets to look for this week and a full moon on the 24th. Sunday the 20th at 11:32 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time is the official June solstice. We call it the summer solstice for the start of summer in our hemisphere, but our southern hemisphere friends begin the season of winter. Looking toward the south part of the sky, and this is about half the sky, literally facing south. If you're not sure which way is south, figure out which way the sun set, where you live, where your observing spot is. Put that spot on your right-hand side and you'll be facing the south. Early in the week, the moon is waxing toward full, and it's pretty bright. But if you look toward the south part of the sky, there are a couple of bright constellations. There's one large fishhook shape, or J shape, the constellation of Scorpius, the scorpion, with the bright star Antares. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And the bright constellation of Virgo, also on the other side of the moon, if you're watching on that particular day. Zoom in a little bit, add some lines, see if you can figure out which is which. That constellation of Scorpius, the big J or fishhook shape, 3 stars, bright star Antares, long tail, sting on the end of the scorpion's tail. Of all the constellations that we talk about, that one at least looks a little bit like what it's supposed to be, a scorpion. Virgo is kind of a kite shape with a couple of sticks sticking off the edges, another large constellation, but those stars are not quite as bright as the ones in Scorpius. Zoom in a little closer. Look where Scorpius is on the sky. So facing south, Scorpius, not real high on the sky by midnight, but getting up there, moving along as the Earth turns. The stars appear to move from east to west. Where the moon is on that day in between Virgo and Libra on the 22nd. Now see if you can find them without the star names and the lines in between. See if you can pick out which one of those constellations is Scorpius, bright reddish star Antares, long tail, 3 stars for shoulders, I guess, if scorpions have shoulders. Here's Scorpius, tail, curve, Antares, the bright star, 3 stars for the front of the scorpion, and Spica, bright star in Virgo, over on this side of the moon. Take a look at Antares. Here's our fishhook shape, or the letter J. Antares is the brightest star in the constellation of Scorpius, and it's a big one. If you look at the star itself, Antares, the name means rival of Mars, anti-Aries. When those two appear near each other in the sky, they look about the same redness. But Antares is a red supergiant star. This thing is huge. It's about 600 light years away from us. So back when the Cathedral of Notre Dame was brand new and Henry V was ruling England, that's when the light from that star left, and it's just now getting down to our eyes. And it's, like I said, it's a supergiant star. If you took the sun out of the solar system and put Antares in place of the sun, that star would stretch farther than the orbit of Mars. I mean, way far beyond Earth's orbit. It's a big star. So if you see where the moon is on the 22nd, it has moved along its orbit a bit. We're now moved along to almost near that star Antares. The two will appear close together in the sky. And this is a test to find Virgo again. Bright star Spica, sort of a kite shape maybe, legs, arms, hallelujah, and the fishhook shape for the scorpion. Virgo up close, that bright star Spica. Might remember how to find that one from a few weeks ago. Find the Big Dipper's handle, follow the arc to the reddish star Arcturus, speed on to Spica, the brightest star in Virgo. You're going to be crossing about a third of the sky while you're doing that. Spica is a blue-white star. It's way hotter than our sun is, and it turns out 262 light years away from us, that our eyes see one bright star. Spectroscopically, looking with a spectroscope, it's possible to see that there are several stars, there are two at least, and they're fairly close to each other, only 11 million miles apart. They're both bigger than the sun is. And as they whirl around their center of gravity, it takes about 4 days for them to spin once, so that stretches the stars out into egg shapes. If we could see that well with just our eyes, it'd be fun to look at that, but there may very well be a few more stars in that cluster as well. June 24th, the moon is full at 2:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now, we're not going to see the moon at 2:40 p.m. It doesn't rise until the sun goes down that evening, and it'll be rising, if the weather's clear, a nice round full moon, halfway around its orbit from when it started off at new phase. And during June, sometimes the full moon is called the strawberry moon or the pink moon. The indigenous people in the Northeast, that's when fruit was starting to get ripe. So there was some flowers, there were some berries to pick, some food to eat. For the Cherokee people, it was the green corn moon, time to keep track of and care for some of the new crops coming in. By the end of the week, just after the sun goes down, you can probably still find Scorpius over here on the sky with Antares, the bright star. You can find Virgo with Spica. And over toward the western part of the sky at sunset, there are two bright planets. Venus is the brighter of the two, farther down toward the horizon. And once you find Venus, it'll help you find Mars. Thank you to Astronomy Magazine, Sky and Telescope Magazine, rather, and Astronomy News for this image. If you can find Venus, looks like a really bright star. And sometimes even before the sunset has left the sky, you can still find that bright point of light. Once you find Venus, you can track up to where Mars is, a little bit to the upper left. And if you have good eyes on dark sky, Pollux and Castor, the Gemini twins, are visible as well. Thanks very much for listening for this week's The Sky This Week from Fernbank Science Center. Keep an eye on our Facebook page, www.fernbank.edu on the web, our Facebook page for the Friday evening virtual planetarium programs and Saturday science lessons. Have a great rest of the week. Make sure that you're keeping an eye on the sky, and thanks for listening.